What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. Welcome back to the first live show of the week because we have had issues with YouTube. Hopefully, um, it's all fixed. So let's see if it's all fixed. We will do the preview. It's not going to be a very long one because I'm already late. My apologies. But we will preview the Sassuolo game. We play tomorrow, 6 o'clock again, which is it's not fun. it's a let me check because on the following week, excuse me, we play on Sunday, right? We do play at Sunday again at 6 o'clock. Terrible hour, but we play at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Away to Sassuolo, and yeah, a lot to go through because Allegri spoke, potential lineups, some issues in training, that has been reported kind of weird because we didn't hear anything about it up to basically a couple hours ago. Um, but yeah, we play Sassuolo and we play Lecce on Tuesday, so we have our first midweek game of the season, and we play Lecce at home on Tuesday. Lecce, who just won 1-0 against Genoa, which is kind of crazy because I think they have like 11, 12 points already in the season. They're staying up. They cannot give that away now. They're staying up, Lecce, which is credit to them. But they won. We play them on Tuesday. But first and foremost, we play Sassuolo tomorrow, away from home. A game that it's a weird one because I think going away to Sassuolo is always a game where I expect goals. I expect goals. I expect a very weird game. It can be dominating. You can be dominated by Sassuolo, or we can dominate Sassuolo. There's no in betweens. Even with halves, it's a very strange place to go, in my opinion. Way to Sassuolo, um, but they're not the team they were the last couple of seasons. Basically, we need to admit that as well. But it's a important game because these games you need to win. Like if you want to do something this season, you cannot drop points against these teams. Like down the line, it can happen. That away from home, you start dropping a few points here and there against these teams. But this early in the season, the way things are going, positively, I'm gonna say, you just need to win. Like you just absolutely need to win on tomorrow. Let me check one thing before I go ahead because let me check if everything is working as it should. Everything is working as it should. Kinda. Let's go into what Allegri had to say. Because he spoke and he had quite a few things to say. I'm not going to go over the players' side, like injury wise and all that stuff. I will keep that for the end of the show, basically, when I go into the lineup. But he spoke, and he had a few things. Like I think this is the first presser Allegri did from, I don't know, like for the last 5-6 months that he wasn't asked a question on Pogba, Bonucci, outside of the field stuff, any of those things. And I think it's been like months, 5, 6, 7 months ago, the last time he didn't had a question regarding non on the field related football stuff, which was kind of fun because we needed this. He needed it, especially not we, just he, because like at the end of the day, like a lot of things he didn't have control on, and he was asked things about topics the club should be responding to and not he. But he spoke about the game. He was there to kill the positivity. So it wasn't me, it wasn't the channel, it was Allegri who kind of killed off the positivity because he said it's essential to raise the antennas because there's too much euphoria. While it's a positive thing on one hand, it can drain our energy and focus. We're only in the fifth match day, and matches in Sassuolo have always been hard-fought affairs. You know, I kind of agree with him. It's only match day 5. I think we should have won all our other games, considering who we played. We didn't, and like it started off very positive. The Udinese game, First half, brilliant, 3-0, game over, and you're like, okay, fine. Then you go to Bologna. I thought, like, people might disagree. I don't think it was any good, you know. It wasn't that Bologna were absolutely peppering us, and man, they were so unlucky. It wasn't that, but we were not good against Bologna. Away to Empoli, overall not a great game, but you beat Empoli because, well, they're horrible, and you just are beating them by default at this point. You know. Then you come back to Lazio and you play, in my opinion, almost a complete game for 90 minutes. So positivity, euphoria back. But I've also said I will be I will be very optimistic or very positive if we can repeat this for a couple of weeks, because we cannot have a Bologna type of game tomorrow while we had that type of game like a week ago against Lazio. Like, you cannot go from like a very good, like a very high to a very low. Like, you cannot have that again. You know, I think that's the issue. I don't think everybody's like, I don't think nobody is going over the top, you know, euphoria wise. I don't think anyone is, you know, going, oh my God, we are unbelievable. We're winning the league. I've not seen that, but I've seen some positivity, which is cool, which is good. I think which was needed after last season. I don't think everybody is like going crazy and saying, "Ah, now that we've beaten Lazio 3-1, we're gonna win the league, or we are gonna do this, and this." I don't think anyone is doing that. There is some positivity. He's killing it off. I get what he's trying to do. I get what he's trying to say. But at the end of the day, it was a good win, and you need to be happy about it. You need to be positive about it. Excuse me. Voice was gone. You need to be positive about it. You need to be happy about it, because that's what it is. Like, it's one game a week, and it's, you know what it is. If we play Sunday and we play Wednesday and we play Sunday again and Wednesday, like every couple of days, you kind of get caught up in more than just focusing on the win, because now we won, and we, like, the entire week we only have that game to talk about. Like, there's nothing else. Like, there's no pregame for a Champions League game or Europa League game, Conference League game, whatever. There's nothing. So we're just gonna talk about that week, that game for an entire week. You're gonna overanalyze it. You're gonna maybe say some wild stuff because there's nothing else to say. And I think he's assuming that, or he's pointing towards that. Like, we need to stay calm. And fine, you need to stay calm, because at the end of the day, it's match day 4 and we have done absolutely nothing still. You know, I get that. But let's move on. He talked about Sassuolo. He said that they lost to Frosinone 4-2. I think it was 4-2. He said, coming out of defeat, so I expect a resilient team. It will require a tough match marked by great technical skills and intense focus to come away with a positive result. You can put, like, he can say whatever. Like, I don't get it. It's coaching talk and whatever. They could have lost 20-0 and they could have fire in their bellies for tomorrow's game. There's no excuse. You're the better team than Sassuolo, and it's not even close. And I think needs to show tomorrow on the pitch. You need to beat Sassuolo, and you need to make it look easy, because the difference in talent in the squads is big time. Like, it is what it is. Like, Sassuolo are not the same team. You should be going in there tomorrow, and you should make it look. You should make it look extremely easy to beat them. You know, I don't care if they lost 4-2, 1-0, or they won, or whatever. You go to Sassuolo. There are no excuses. You need to beat Sassuolo, and it needs to be clean. It doesn't need to be a stressy game. It is what it is, you know. So they can, like, that's a cliche thing to say, like, oh, they lost, now they're up for it. They lost because, you know what, they're not good. That's why they lost, and that's why they're gonna lose a lot of games this season, because they're not good. That's why they lost to Frosinone. And you can think that, you know, now they're a fire in the bellies, but the talent or the abilities from that team is not going to change. It's going to be the same thing. You know, they don't have a great squad at this moment in time, you know. So fine, you need to beat them. As simple as that. Then he he made clear that everyone understood what the goals are for the season. And he said it in his own way. He said we need to finish top four, even though it won't be easy because Inter, Milan, and Napoli are superior to everyone. We'll have to take it one step at a time with balance. They're not superior, Like, I think Inter have a better squad. Napoli have an advantage because they have already won. That team won. Milan have an entire new team, basically. Like, they brought in a lot of players. I think using the word superior is a bit too much. It's too much. I think I get that he's trying to not put a lot of pressure on these players. Fine, I get that. But I don't think you can say they're so superior than us, because I don't agree with that. I don't think a lot of fans will agree with that. And I don't like that he makes it look like a tough job to make top four. Like, if you don't make top four with this squad in this league, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, that will be the biggest failure in, I don't know, 20 years in this club, basically. It will, because this team is good enough to just walk into that top four without any issues. Like, it is. It's better than Atalanta. It's better than Roma. It's better than Lazio. It's potentially as good as Milan, unless they click all in the same time. All of the players they brought in. And the way Napoli are moving, but they still have an advantage because they have the winning mentality from last season. They've done it. And Inter have a bigger squad. Like, likes for likes, they are more equipped for it. But I don't like that he's setting it up like it's one big task, because you cannot make it look like, oh, it's a tough ask to get into the top four, and then turn around the next question and say, keep in mind, last season we finished third. What is it now? Because you're making it sound like, oh, we finished third, and then turn around and be like, oh, it's tough. It wasn't tough. We were absolutely crap last season, and we finished in the top four without the points deduction, and we were shit. We were absolutely crap last season, you know. But it is what it is. That's the expectations. He's just making it very clear what it is. I guess every single presser. That's just who he is at this moment in time. So we are aware that our team has less experience than others, but we must work hard and we have time to do so. The entire team must feel the weight of responsibility, both the younger players and the more experienced ones. The youngsters are growing. Our style of play is a result of squad's composition. We have lost some experience, but we gained enthusiasm and dynamism. We should be pleased with this, and we need to excel in running more than others while maintaining focus. Yes, you lost experienced players, and it kind of needs time, and not just what you lost now. I think we're still healing from the last couple of years, because a lot of things happen at the club, players leaving off the field, whatever. So I get that point. It's a younger squad, it's a different squad, but the base is good enough, talent wise, to do better, and that's what he's kind of saying. So I agree with him. It's a different team. It's more predicated. It's up to him to make it work. It's more dynamic. It is, with players like Cambiasso coming in, Weah coming in, Chiesa being fit, Miretti in that midfield, like Gatti, like it's a different type of team. I get it, but it's up to him now to let them play. That's one thing, to the best of their abilities. Like, you cannot play 3-5-2, put Junior in there like he did at Sevilla, and he was playing left back. Like, then I'll go back to what he said. He said our style of play is a result of our squad composition. Then you're lying, because your squad composition doesn't say play Ealing Jr. as a left back away to Sevilla, because that's what he was doing in the first half. That's not squad composition. That's you making that decision, basically, period. So that I don't agree with, also because he talks about squad composition, and then he plays then he plays McKennie as wingback, basically. So 1+1 doesn't equal 2. Because if you're going off squad composition, you don't play McKennie in that position. And I will say stuff that will anger people, but I'm not going to do that in this life. But you play certain players out of position. That's you. That's not squad composition, because if you just look at squad composition, you don't play certain players, or you don't play certain players in certain areas. So you can say that, but it's just not true. Because I will go into a quote that kind of proves that that's not what he's doing, you know? So it's up to him to get everybody in the right position. And as of now, is he doing that? No, you can argue no with McKennie. But again, I don't know what the Real situation is. I still find it extremely strange at this moment in time. I do. But and here I go about squad composition, because he talked about Fajoli, or he was asked about Fajoli basically, because I think even journalists are having the feeling now that, you know, he is no, he didn't lose his spot in that starting 11, but I think he prefers Miretti. That's just my opinion. I think certain journalists are having that feeling as well. That's why that question for Fajoli came in. And he said he has skills and technique to play in front of the defense. In 17, I described him as a deep line playmaker, and that's what he continues to be. With experience, he might also be able to play in a defensive midfield role. Maybe, yes, I don't know. I think when I heard that, I'm like, Miretti is gonna get the call up again, you know. And Miretti should get the start, but I think like down the line, if Miretti builds on his performances, he's gonna be the main guy in there. That's what I got from that statement basically, because he's giving him positions. He's not playing. He said he could play that, yes or no, whatever. I don't think that was what the journalist was getting at. I think the journalist was asking, you know, what's up with Fajoli? Is he gonna start? Did he actually lost his position? Whatever. Excuse me. I think he was like, the journalist who asked that question was actually leaning towards that basically, rather than, you know, can he play as a defensive midfielder or whatever? Because I buy a defensive midfielder. that's what I have to say. Just buy a defensive midfielder. There's no need to mold Fajoli into a defensive midfielder. Just if you want one, buy one. Same for Locatelli. Like if you want a defensive midfielder, buy a defensive midfielder. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. And then his final answer, or his final question he answered, or one of them, was what we talked about, you know, balance and the base that we have at the squad at this moment in time, you know, because I think there is a good base with certain players of age, and especially the younger ones coming through, or we are expecting to take that next step and be the experienced guys, you know, Chiesa, Vlahovic, Locatelli. Now you guys are going to need to be the potentially Chiellini, Buffon, like those type of players, and carry this team into a new winning cycle. He said the strength of a team and a club lies in having balance. In my opinion, results are achieved through balance. Where balance prevails, it's easier to obtain results. A win or a loss should disrupt us. Considering the structure of the team and the age of the players, this is undoubtedly a squad with a bright future. If we manage to finish in the top 4 this year after a generational shift, which is clinical. Wait, what? Oh, cycle. It's a cycle. We will have done a good job and contributed to the club. I believe Juve has a squad that will allow us to achieve great success for years to come. Now, first part, I agree. Because that's who I am. Because I don't come on after a win and be like, oh my God, we're amazing. I don't even did that when we won 8 games straight last season. I still came on and I said, this feels kind of fake. Like, I have a feeling it will come crashing down. I hope not, but it crashed down, you know, because I've watched the game, you know. I've watched those 8 winning games streak, and from those 8, and we didn't concede a goal. We should have conceded a goal, and we should have not won a couple of them. Like, if we weren't completely honest, but we did, and I said, I'll take it, but this is not sustainable. So I agree with him. I don't change my opinion on a win or not a win. That's why after the Lazio game, I said, like, cool, now do it for a couple of games, because I've seen you doing in the past, and then the next game you stink it out, you know. That's what balance he's talking about. So I will not change my opinion until they prove me wrong. So I agree with that part. You cannot go, oh my God, we're winning the title because we beat Lazio 3-1, and then tomorrow we don't beat Sassuolo. You're like, ah, fuck it, we're not doing it again. The following week, you win and Inter drop points. You're like, oh, we're back in it. A lot of people are like that, but that's living game to game. I'll repeat what I said last season. That's what you do if you're a Genoa fan. You live from game to game and you just take what comes your way. And at the end of the season, you see, are we still in Serie A? Yes or no? That's not how a top club should be looking, game to game. You should look at the progress and the process you're having. And this far, that progress, and I'm counting the first 2 years, is a roller coaster. Like, it's a complete roller coaster with a lot of downs, and it's now just waiting to go up that roller coaster again and keep it steady for now. But until they do that, until they don't prove me wrong, I'm not gonna flip flop. I'm not gonna be that reactive as many might be. So yeah, that's that. But I agree, there's a good base. I think there's a good base to work well, and do good for the coming years, but it depends on a lot of things. I think Key coming off the bench and scoring. Hope he does. 99 of his pressers are always copy paste. I don't even listen to them anymore at this point. We just need to win. Simple as that. Yeah, but that also comes because of the questions are just always the same. But yeah. Before I go into our lineup, before I do that, Sassuolo, because when I look at the team, like, I don't want to jinx it or whatsoever, like, but you need to beat that team. I think Pinamonti has had a good start to the season. I think Berardi played 2 games and looked better in the second game. Actually looked a lot better in the second game compared to the first one. But other than that, if I look at that team and I wrote it down, it's... And I don't know who's going to play. Probably Torsved is going to play. I'm assuming Torsved is going to get the start, who I did like when he played over here, but not anymore now. But, like I said, Pinamonti, Berardi, yes. But then if you look at the back, Ruan, Irlich, Vina, Enrique midfield, Balog, like... I don't want to jinx it again, but like, you need to beat this Sassuolo team without an issue. Like, you're not gonna play De Zerbi Sassuolo. Even when they had some dodgy players, they made them look good. Paul Lirola, ex Juve, he was amazing against us, but he's just a bang average footballer. But you're like, wow, he's gonna do some damage, and he did when he played against us. But like I don't have that vibe as a Swallow. You need to go there and make it look extremely easy, in my opinion. Because I look frozen on the last week, that second half, and they made it look extremely easy. That's what they did. Yeah, I do like the video because I'm going into the player ratings, lineups, and then I will go into the predictions and that stuff. Let me get this here first. Otherwise, I cannot do it. Okay. The lineup. Yeah, I think the lineup is very basic. I think the lineup is very straightforward because of the things that happened in training as well. So Chesney will play. I think that's just a given at this point. Bremer, same thing. It's a given. Danilo, Sandro's injured, and Gatti apparently, according to Romeo Gresi, even if Alexandro wasn't injured, Gatti was gonna get the start anyway. Now it's easier to say. Will it happen? It should happen. So let's assume it will. So that's a starting backline as expected. Midfield, that's just not going to change this season. These two guys are not going to change. Locatelli and Rabiot, I don't think there's going to be any changes. And according to the rumors, and it should not be a rumor because he deserves to start at this moment in time, it's Miretti again. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, you need to play Fagioli again. I think Miretti has shown enough and he deserves to play. I don't think it would be fair, in my opinion, to drop him now. Is it fair towards Fagioli? Based on what he did last season, no. But he wasn't fit at the start of the season. Miretti stepped in, and he's doing well, in my opinion, well enough to keep playing. So it's Miretti. It's Miretti for me. Let's move on. On the right, McKennie had a knock, but apparently he is gonna play. He's gonna play McKennie again, and if he's fit, and you look at the Lazio performance again, it's not fair to bench him. Even though long term, I don't want to see and Kostic on the left. Like long term, I don't want to see Kostic and McKennie as a starter. Like that should not be the case. Like we brought Weah to be the starter on the right. Long term, he should be the starter on the left. Long term, it should be Junior or Cambiaso more than Kostic, in my opinion, if you want to progress in a different style of play. But McKennie did well. Kostic, to his credit, is trying, like he is learning to link up with Chiesa, because last week I don't think anyone can remember him putting a random cross in, if we're being completely honest, because it was more predicated to link up with Chiesa and play in service of Chiesa rather than play in service of whoever's in the box. So they're going to start, according to rumors. And then up top, easy. Fagioli, who, no. Vlahovic, who had a back problem, and Chiesa had another issue, but they're going to start apparently. And they need to start because those are the main guys. A lot of things this season will depend on those two guys. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm okay with it because I've said so many times, you play once a week, pick your 11. Even though I don't agree with your 11, pick your 11 and build on that, and then you can make changes. And long term, I want to see Cambiaso on that team or Junior, more than I want to see Kostic, because I think that will suit what we're trying to do in certain games better. That's my opinion. But I think it's already improvement that we see the starting 11, the same starting 11 week in, week out, and we don't see 4 to 5 changes. Now, this is a rumored lineup. Things can change, but I think he will go with that lineup. And I think on Tuesday against Lecce, even though Lecce they're no scrubs, like they're doing well. They're second in the league at this moment in time. I think it's more easy to make subs at home. And again, against Lecce, I'm not saying change 5 players, but you can bring in a Keane for the Chiesa. I'm just saying something. And you can let Weah start and maybe Cambiaso, and that's about it. And maybe Fagioli, and then you have 4 or 5, but like you don't need to do all crazy. You can start Miretti again and bring in Fagioli against Lecce off the bench. But again, as you always do, player ratings, what I want to see. I think this should be. And somebody in the comments said, I don't get your ratings, the back line against Lazio should be an 8. No, I'm not going to do that. Because that means I needed to give Chiesa a 9 and Vlahovic a 10. Those are not 9 and 10 games. Like for me, 5 that was not good. You're not good. Or you played a few minutes coming off the bench. 6 is okay, that's good. 7 is like you were very good. 8 was great. I'll probably not hand out a 9 unless somebody puts in a hat trick or something crazy like that. But that's how I do my rating. So I think this should do the trick against Lazio. Lazio against Sassuolo. I think this should be enough to beat Sassuolo. If you get this from these guys, and again, 6 is an okay game, no mistakes, just solid, just whatever. And 7 is you made the difference, and I think that's what will be enough tomorrow if we get that. I'm looking Miretti to pick up where he left with a bit more risks in around the box, but again, keep it simple. And I think that goal will come. Locatelli needs to build on that game. I praise them. Now you cannot go back to having a stinky game, what I have an issue with, being very inconsistent. And up top, those 2 guys, again, they made the difference so far this season. They're going to need to do it again, And if you do that, you will win. And I believe we will win tomorrow. I'm going to go with. I went back and forward, but I'm going 2-0. I will say we keep a clean sheet. I'm going to say we're going to win. I'm going to say Vlahovic will score. And I think Rabiot will score tomorrow as well. So that's my prediction. Want to come on tomorrow, do my match reaction, be extremely calm, and go into, Sunday with no stress. And then Monday again, do the Monday again, do the preview for Lecce, and then come on again and be excited about the Lecce game. But let's start off for tomorrow. So that's my prediction, 2-0. And yeah, like not much to say. You need to go to Sassuolo and you need to beat Sassuolo. That's it. Build on that Lazio game. Otherwise, it will be all for nothing on that positivity. So let's hope that will not be the case. But that's my preview. That's my prediction. I'm gonna let everybody go to bed, I guess, or have a nice day depending on where you're watching. Like the video, subscribe. Let me know your predictions in the comments for the people who are rewatching this. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow.